When the 2021 NFL season kicked off, we had all high hopes for Jody Fortson taking over and becoming that tight end number 2, and then an unfortunate Achilles injury ended his season too quick. Today we're going to discuss if he can be a high impact player coming into the 2022 NFL season and rebound off his Achilles injury. But before we do dive into that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I will always give you my thoughts on anything Kansas City Chiefs related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's discuss a little bit about Jody Fortson. It's no question that going into this 2022 NFL season for the Kansas City Chiefs, this offense is going to look different because a big part of this piece of the offense in Tyreek Hill is not going to be there. But we do kind of overlook a position, and that is the tight end group, because when we look at who's going to replace Tyreek Hill's production, we go, can Juju do it? Can Sky Moore do it? Can Josh Gordon do it? Can MVS be an impact player? So on and so forth. And we just solely focus on this wide receiver group. But what we tend to forget is this tight end group and also the running back group. There is depth in both positions, but one name we tend to overlook is Jody Fortson. And now we might not be overlooking it, but the hype might not be the same just because of an apparent Achilles injury that ended his season last year. But let's not forget, the past 2 seasons, this guy has been a stud in the preseason trying to make this active roster. Then he did do it in 2021, and then like I mentioned, an Achilles injury ended his season. But let's not forget either, just because he made the roster, doesn't mean he was going to make an impact right away. They could have stashed him on the sideline and did whatever they wanted to do. But there was actually play calls for him to be on the field, and then in that Washington Commanders game is when he started to show his true potential and his true impact on this team. He even had a huge catch towards the end zone where he basically mossed the DB, and that's what you're going to get out of Jody Fortson. He may not bring the speed that maybe a typical tight end nowadays will do. I think he runs like a 4.78 to the 4.82, which might be slower, definitely for someone his stature, because of his athletic ability, and just like he looks like a freak. Like he looks like he's sculpted, like he's 225 pounds, 6'6". Even Travis Kelce has mentioned that he is probably the most athletic tight end in that tight end group. And I do expect big things coming into the 2022 NFL season. We've seen in OTAs and in mini camp that he looks up to speed, and it's crazy to see nowadays. Like, we got a glimpse of it last year, of these players coming off of Achilles injuries, and they're coming back quicker than ever. Whether it's the new surgery procedures they do, new medicine procedures, I don't know. I'm not a professional in that whatsoever. But we saw last year with Cam Akers, like he tore his Achilles. Usually it takes a full year and then another one to bounce back into your true form, if you can even do it, because a lot of athletes get scared and like worried that they cannot have that same like push off of that Achilles like they used to. But nowadays, it's seeming with the Achilles and the ACL that these players are feeling like their old selves, if not better. So, and then Jody Fortson is showing that in camp too, where he looks like he's got that bounce, he looks like he's got that burst, and he looks like he's got that hop that we've seen in some recent photos in his minicamp OTAs. It's exciting to see because, like I mentioned, we do need someone to replace Tyreek Hill's production. Now, when I mean that, not one player is going to replace it all in all. But if you can get a combination of groups, whether it's a combination of the wide receiver core, tight end, and running back, that is a possibility. And I think that's where Jody Fortson can come in too. And I think that would be a surprise for a lot, a lot of teams trying to cover the Kansas City Chiefs, because we're just used to the speed breaking, athletic ability coming out of the wide receiver groups and that taking over games. And honestly, as fun as that was to watch, it was kind of getting sought out, and defenses were catching up to it, and Kansas City's offense didn't look the same. So I'm going to say it might rub people the wrong way, but maybe Tyreek Hill not being in this offense is beneficial to this team, because it gives them the ability to switch up. Now, they can do so many things. What if Kansas City, we know they like to run different types of tight end sets. What if they really implemented a true tight end set, kind of like what the Patriots did back in the day with the Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez? Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear the Aaron Hernandez thing, but when that offense was full clicking, that's what Bill Belichick liked to run his offense through, was a good running game. You had your core wide receivers, and then you ran through those two tight ends. What if Kansas City decided to do that? I think Kansas City's wide receiver core is better than what New England's represented. But just imagine if you could implement 2 solid tight ends and that just takes over the game. And I think that would catch a lot of defense by surprise if that's what Kansas City rolled into the 2022 season with. And now another thing too. It's a tight end you prefer to see. So it's a pick your poison. I picked Jody Fortson. I know there's a lot of people in the Noah Gray camp who want to see him shine too. And I like Noah Gray. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just right now, I'm riding with Jody Fortson. I like the potential he has shown. I like what he's shown more in the last season, even with an injury, than what Noah Gray did. Noah Gray did get more playing time towards the end of the season, but it was nothing too crazy that caught my eye to be like, he can be a true tight end number 2 in this league. I think he only had 1 touchdown, and it was just a short 5-yard catch, even though it was an impressive touchdown. I'm not going to lie. Like, Mahomes threw a bullet straight to him, hit him right in the shoulder. He was able to come down with it. Impressive. Nonetheless, I still think Jody Fortson is the better option. I think he has the better athletic ability. I just think Jody Fortson has the better athletic ability, and I'm going to go on a crazy limb here too, and we do this during minicamp time, during training camp season, during preseason, is we have these high hopes for players that potentially don't make the team or potentially don't make an impact on the NFL season. I remember my days when, I want to say it was before Matt Castle, when I thought Bobby Scipio was about to be a 1,000-yard receiver in this league because he did such crazy things in the Arena League, and those were times we were praying Kansas City Chiefs were going to be good and someone out of somewhere will make an impact. I was wrong, but I might go on a crazy limb here. Jody Fortson could be your future tight end number 1. Now, I'm not counting Travis Kelce's days whatsoever, but he's a great tight end to learn under too, and we all know Jody Fortson does need the growth coming off of injury. Also too, football wasn't his main sport coming out of high school and college. As we all know, it's basketball, and we know basketball players tend to translate very, very well to the NFL game. So if Travis Kelce, if he could be under Travis Kelce for the next 2 to 3 years, that would be great. And I'm not calling Travis Kelce's career at the end of 3 years either, because he doesn't seem like he's stopping anytime soon. But I love the potential in Jody Fortson. I think he can be a true, top 10 tight end in this league. I might be stretching, but this is the time of the year to stretch for it. And I think Jody Fortson can be a huge impact on this team this year if he comes back from the injury like we all expect. We all focus on the wide receivers, as we should, because the wide receiver group took a huge hit losing Tyreek Hill. We should focus on the running back group because they haven't lived up to their potential as well. But don't sleep on these tight ends, especially Jody Fortson, because he can be a high impact player this year. But I'm going to close this video out, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about Jody Fortson, or how you view about this tight end group in general. Like, do you think Jody Fortson should be the number 2 tight end, or do you think Noah Gray should be, or do you think Blake Bell should come back? Because, I mean, Blake Bell, he's good at those quarterback sneaks. I think he does have a chance to be on this roster, but at the end of the day, I think Blake Bell was just filling in for the injury of Jody Fortson. Now, if there's an injury that arises, I think Blake Bell comes in. But again, let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about this tight end group. I'm going to close out this video. You guys enjoy your weekend, but before so, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I will keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And I will close this out. Y'all take care.